Hey, it's John Pullman here with the Brother Jeff Network, the BJN. We're talking about news around the world and around your community. Denver Native American Stacy Parrish. She's the principal at the Northeast Early College, and she says that she's mad. But as a Native American leader in DPS, she says she's not nearly mad enough. So what did she do? She says the curriculum of Native Americans is not being taught in Denver public schools. She went to the school board meeting in November, and now the board has promised to change the book, turn the page, and make sure Native Americans' deeds and goals and aspirations right here in the Mile High City are being taught, even before white folks got here. Stacy Parrish, shout out to you for sure. All right, Ron Pitts, a filmmaker in Chicago, he's the one that documented the murder of Fred Hampton. That just passed the 50th anniversary of the 21-year-old leader of the Black Panther Party. He and Mark Clark gunned down in their sleep by Chicago State's Attorney Police, and it was just one of those disasters that helped turn the party under, basically. All right, this is just east of here, or west, depending on how you fly around the globe, but they were destroying one of the jungles in Indonesia, tearing down all the trees. An orangutan, who was, I guess, the OG in the orangutan crew, he's in the trees. He's watching all these bulldozers come in and bulldoze the trees. What does he do? He jumps down on the bulldozer to stop them from taking the trees. He keeps sliding off the machinery, but he keeps jumping back up. And luckily, the International Animal Rescue folks were there. They saw what was going on. Everybody was in tears. The orangutan stopped the machinery from tearing down the forest, the how do you call that? The green forest. And that's what gives us our greenhouse. Look, it was incredible, but he stopped the destruction of the forest. I think that's just amazing. And they talk about how orangutans are real close to man. That bears it out right there. A Nigerian billionaire, philanthropist, Tony Umu, he has collected and committed $100 million to create 10,000 entrepreneurs in his home country of Nigeria. We'll watch that and make sure that that continues to happen. In West Virginia, here in America, 30 graduates of the Sheriff's Deputies Academy, like the guys who would go in and run the jails, they graduated. They're all white, so they're standing on their risers, they're doing their thing, getting sworn in. What do? The Nazi salute, the Hitler salute. They blurred their faces on the pictures that they put up on Facebook, but luckily somebody with some reason in the town they're in West Virginia came up and said, you know what? These guys cannot be prison guards in our state or in our city, because most of the people in there are people of color. And if they're already doing the Nazi salute, something is not going to go right there. President Trump declaring this week that he'll make it harder for states to keep residents on the food stamp program. 700,000 Americans are on the SNAP program, the Food Supplement Nutrition Assistance Program, and they are now going to donate. They're losing their benefits. So some 688,000 people will lose their food stamps. $5.5 billion the government says they will save over the next 5 years. Travon Martin, back in the news. Well, Travon Martin is still dead, but George Zimmerman is back in the news. This is the man who was on Neighborhood Watch, went through this community where Travon's parents lived. Travon is the guy who had the hood on, the whole Black Lives Matters movement. George Zimmerman, got to quit it. Now he is suing the family of Travon Martin for $100 million. He says he's suffering from PTSD and can't get a job. You had a job, but you messed it up by killing somebody, fool. Trump owns federal judges. Republicans hit a new milestone. Everybody's worrying about how many judges Trump is appointing to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's only 9 justices. The real power lies at the next level down, the federal judgeship level. Trump has appointed more than 150 judges, 150 judges around the country to the Supreme Court. They say it's 1/4 of all the judges that are federal judges in America now. He has appointed a generation of judges. We are in trouble. That's why that man needs to go. Florida man accused of dropping his son on the side of the road because he thought the son was gay. He dropped the kid off. His name is Evanuel Jamulis, 30 years old, in Haines City, Florida. Goes to the police station, dropped the kid off in a duffel bag with some clothes stuffed in there. Well, apparently the courts found him and he'll be going to jail. That's the bottom line. Now in Chicago and Illinois, they've legalized marijuana. So the city of Evanston, which is a suburb just north of Chicago on the lake, they have decided, they figured out a way to do this reparation thing for black folks. They're going to use the tax profits, part of them that they get from selling marijuana, and they're going to flip that back over. If you can prove where your relatives came from and you got them dated back all the way to the 1700s, to slavery, you will get reparations from the pot tax. I love that. That's one we're going to have to keep an eye on because that could work all over. Pam Brown Courtney, impressed with this this community in Little Rock, Arkansas. She thought it would be a nice place to move. Very nice, beautiful neighborhood, quaint, all that. She's driving through with the realtors and everything. All of a sudden, all the people are standing outside. They said, no, we don't want no Negroes. We don't want no black folks. We don't want no niggas here. The whole bit. So what does she do? Instead of getting mad, takes her money and goes out and builds a community of 51 beautiful custom-built designer homes, calling it Coventry Cove, and it's an exclusive destination for families down in Little Rock. Let's see, what else do we have here? Trump kills a racial discrimination post at the UN. Gabe McDonald, she'd been on the job there for 5 years, helping make sure discrimination around the world was kept in check. She's fired. She's out of her job. Trump has gone crazy. Mayor Pete calls the Root writer, Mike Harriet, who called him a mother fixer. He calls him on the phone and said, hey, this Pete Buttigieg, I just want to talk to you about you calling me names. I don't understand what's going on. So the black man, the black writer for the Root, they got to a 45, 50-minute discussion. And so at the end of it, the Root writer, Mike Harriet, comes back and says, you know what? I like that Pete Buttigieg guy. I like him. After talking to him and listening to what he has to say, I kind of like him. I don't know if you heard this one. Rochester, New York, 82-year-old woman. Her name was Willie Murphy. Some guy decided he wanted to break into her house. Little did he know that she was an 82-year-old bodybuilder, national champion. Man breaks in her house. She said, what's up? What you trying to do here? She picked up a table and beat the man with the table till the table broke. Then she, when he was injured down on the ground, got a broom and started beating him with the broom. When the police got there, they thought the guy was, had her in check or something like that. He didn't know what was going on. Turns out the police were so infatuated with the story, as was much of the nation, they decided to take selfies with Willie Murphy right on her front porch. That's how you get back. That's how you take a bite out of crime. Way to go. And when she got back to the YMCA the next week, they gave her a standing ovation. They all started lifting with her. They said, we want to get like you, young lady. 82 years old. That's it for news around the world, around the nation, and around your community on the BJN Network. John Bowman, we'll see you next time.